Welcome back. Well, confirmation that the actress Terry Pheto has now been named in the big investigation by the SIU into the National Lottery. She's denied benefiting from the proceeds of corruption as a result of the scandal. Huge amounts of money essentially went to members of the National Lotteries Commission. Essentially, the money would go from the commission to organisations and then back to the people who ran it. A new board's trying to clean up the commission. The SIU is still investigating what's happened. Raymond Joseph, the journalist with Groundup, he's the person who really broke open the story, did all of the investigations that led to this. Raymond, good afternoon to you. I mean, Terry Pheto's a big name in South Africa. Are you surprised to see someone like her is now being implicated? Are you expecting more people to be implicated in what happened?
No, I'm not surprised at all, Stephen. I'm working on a series of stories where household names, musicians, movie stars, all benefited from it. They were all feeding at the trough.
How was the money moving around?
So in the case of Terry Pheto, I've literally just published a story. So in fact, what happened is back in 2017, an NPO called Tsotsi Mode was given 20.2 million rand for an initiation project. To this day, I don't know what it entailed, because what happened is I'd put in a PIA request, and I was refused because the NLC told me they had to protect the privacy of their donors, and they would refuse to say anything about it. Soon after that money went in, 3 million rand went to a developer who built Terry Pheto's home. I must tell you that Terry Pheto's sister also got 5 million rand for an NPO which was bought off the shelf, brand new NPO, within 3 weeks. It got, I speak under corrections, like 3.5 million rand, and then 2 months later another 1.5. Anyway, the total was 5 million rand. There is no way that shelf organization could have produced the 2 years of financial statements that was required by the lottery. There's no ways.
So, I mean, it's so bizarre how much money was flowing around. And you've been reporting on this for a long, long time. So, I mean, if these investigations continue from the SIU, I mean, you're expecting more and more names. Those names are going to be published, right? There's no way that they're not going to come out now, I would expect, with the new commission at the National Lottery as well.
Apologies. So yes, I mean, there's a lot more names that are going to come out. In fact, I was on a TV program last night with Barney Patiana, who is given an undertaking of complete transparency. And I must tell you that the new board and executive of the NLC, they're going forward without fear or favor. Uncovering this kind of stuff. The assets forfeiture unit is now involved, which is a good thing, because that directly draws the NPA into this matter. But people are being suspended. There are disciplinary hearings going on, and really, I'm very impressed with what's going on there. There really is a cleanup happening. I'm happy to say, and relieved to say.
One of the things that's very key to all of this is that you started reporting on this, Raymond, I mean, years ago, a long time ago, and it's taken a very long time for there to be a proper investigation. Now, some of it was, you know, this comes under the DTI, under the Department of Trade and Industry, and the Minister, Raymond Patel, did try and act. There were court cases that slowed it down. But why did it take so long for anyone to act? And really, the key question there is, was there political protection from the people who were benefiting from all of this? Was money flowing back to politicians, perhaps?
So, Stephen, I've been at this since 2018, in fact, 2017. And yes, they enjoyed heavy political protection. There's no question of that. Certainly in the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee, the DTIC Parliamentary Portfolio Committee, they were being protected by the ANC majority. Duman Khoza, who has subsequently died, the chair of that committee, he really protected the ANC. He protected the NLC. And you've got to look at the kind of people who received money. So let's have a look at Ronald Lamola, the Minister of Justice. His law company while he was still one of the two directors of that law company, got millions and millions and millions of rands in legal work out of the lottery. Angie Mochecha and her husband, a former NLC whip, their NPOs got money. Fikile Umbalula put in an offer, a cash offer to buy a house in Bryanston. It's one of the houses that's been frozen, by the way. And at the very last moment, the offer was withdrawn. And then an associate of Umbalula made exactly the same offer, the same price, the same terms, and that house was bought. And it goes beyond that. Yes, they enjoyed heavy political protection, and it wasn't any one faction of the ANC. There were many, many feeding at that trough. The reason why this hasn't come out, the context is, if you think SAA, Eskom, they were going to Parliament every year with a begging bowl asking for money. Well, the lottery had hundreds of millions of rands flowing in every week, coming from the operators of the lottery. So they were cash flush. It's not only, I need to tell you, it's not only with grants that money, it was to service providers, lawyers, ITC companies, media houses, were all feeding at that trough. And in fact, Ibrahim Patel has announced that they are now investigating, so they've suspended, they've got a list of lawyers that they've used. They've suspended that entire thing. They're investigating all those lawyers. It would appear that money was being laundered through lawyers. Tens of millions of rands were spent on advertorial, radio shows, that sort of thing, to directly counter mine and Groundup's reporting. They admit as much of that in annual reports. So I'm not making it up. They say as much. They don't say Groundup and Raymond Joseph, but they say one media house and one journalist. So we know who that is.
Raymond Joseph, thank you very much indeed. Really appreciate it. Well, the latest there on the story around the National Lotteries Commission and Terry Pheto. Of course, those properties have now been seized. She cannot sell them. Again, just to reiterate that she's denied any wrongdoing or benefiting from the proceeds of corruption in any way. We'll let the court processes play themselves out there.